One person can spark a motivation, but it takes a whole lot of people to keep it going. I was just your average freshman coming into school. I had a pretty good idea of what high school was like. My mom worked here, my brother went here, so I felt pretty comfortable, but I was just focused on getting my grades in the right place they needed to be because I knew they would count for college. And I was focused on the sports that I loved, football and track. And so freshman and sophomore year, that's really all I got involved in, and that's what I thought life revolved around and what high school was all about. So then junior year came around and things began to slowly change, and I was introduced to student council through a teacher I was close with, and I kind of got a feel for it, kind of thought it would be cool, so I went for that and ran for junior class president, and I made it, and I was pretty happy about that. And junior year is also the year I decided to step it up academically. So I went from freshman and sophomore year to doing nothing but sports and CP classes to really investing myself in APs and sports and clubs. And so it's two different sides of the spectrum, and it was really like a culture shock to me. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. So my 3.9 GPA took a huge hit. I'm sure my junior year teachers would tell you that as a student I was very uninvolved because I couldn't even pour myself 100% into anything I did because I was so overwhelmed. And my football and track careers definitely took a hit too because my energy level was just really low. And even as junior class president, looking back on it, my duties, I did not fulfill them. I wasn't the president that the class needed, and I wasn't even a leader that the school needed. So junior year is coming along, and it's wrapping up, and I found myself thinking, freshman, sophomore year, I wasn't really involved in anything and striving for excellence. In junior year, I almost strived too much and bit off too much that I could chew, and I found myself thinking, I can't win either way. I've tried one end of the spectrum and I've tried the other end, and nothing's really working out because my GPA took a hit, my leadership took a hit, my sports took a hit from everything I'm trying to do. And I started to realize after junior year was over, that summer, that, it's not really about overloading yourself, and it's not really about not doing anything. You have to find a good balance with both. As senior year began to start, I started realizing freshman, sophomore, junior year, I've been trying to build myself up and build, what I can do up and really just focus on me. And I began to see a shift in my life, and toward the end of summer, as senior year was starting, I got really more involved in student council and actually was elected student body president, which it was such an honor, and I was so thankful and happy. But I found myself realizing there's no way I could repeat junior year and take the APs I needed to, be the president of the school I needed to, and play football like I needed to. And so one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make in my life really was to stop playing football, because I felt like if I played football, I couldn't be the president that this school needed and that the president I wanted to be. And I went through weeks of meditation and really thinking about it, and it was an extremely hard decision. But now looking back on it, I think it's really been the right decision, because the impact we had at the student council retreat and the impact we're going to have in the school year is just limitless, and the sky's the limit. And I think that's because of the lessons I've learned through freshman, sophomore, junior year, and realizing that it's not really about building myself up as much as it is building the school up and building others up. So through trying to make myself look good and achieve great things, I realized that through my failure, I realized that it's not about that, and I really didn't want to do that because I was failing. And my APs, it all failed. My career in athletics, it was going down. And so I had to make a change, and I did. And I realized that in my mind, I started shifting to think that it's not really about doing things, it's about being someone. And it's kind of tricky to come up with a message and get those feelings out of your heart and put them verbally into people's minds and write it on paper. It's hard to do that. But I found myself beginning to think it's about being. And I really wanted to share that with the student council and with the students here at North Gwinnett this year. So sharing it with student council was tricky because I really wanted to pour my heart into this and share what I've learned. But it was hard to come up with something to say, to share that would make sense and that would still be my heart's beat. And I realized that, and I shared this, that success as a leader isn't defined as your position. It's not defined as whether you're on a stage speaking to hundreds of people. It's about your heart. And I realized that if I just share that, then people will get to, they'll realize it. And as I'm sharing this with the student council, I begin to like teach myself, and I can feel it on stage. As I'm talking, I'm learning new things, people are learning new things, we're feeding off each other. And success as a leader is different than any other success, really, because you can be successful in a classroom but not have heart in the class, because you care less about what you're learning. You're just really smart, so you're going to succeed in that class. And on the field, you can be the best athlete but not have heart, and you still succeed just because you can jump higher or run faster than people. And even in clubs at school, I realized you can succeed and get a cord for graduation but not really have heart in the club, and it's just, you're collecting hours, so you're succeeding. I began to even more realize that, I'm going off the slogan of North Gwinnett here. We've heard it, since freshman year, all students can be leaders. And, I'm really starting to feel that, and I'm seeing the people around me, start changing because they're realizing what I've realized, and I love the fact that I can share that with people and help them earlier in the stage of high school to realize that they're realizing that because leadership, really, the success of it is about heart, that anybody can be successful in leadership. You don't have to be in a certain position. And it's really all about realizing that it's not what you do that changes who you are, it's who you are that changes what you do. I really believe that every student here at North Gwinnett is here for a reason, and that we all have a specific thing that we can bring to the table as far as leadership, as far as academics, or as far as being involved in clubs goes. But for me, one of my deepest regrets is not realizing my potential earlier in high school. And I know if I would have, then who knows where I'd be today. But one of my passions is helping other people, helping freshmen, sophomores, juniors realize their potential now, not only in the classroom but in leadership and in clubs and in life. Because I know I've realized mine now, but if only I could have realized it earlier. And that's really what leadership is all about. It's helping others and building others up to be the best they can be, because when you do that, that makes you the best you can be. Everybody's heard the saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and I know, looking back on my high school experience and really my whole life, that's really been true, because starting freshman year I wasn't even active, but then because of teachers, because of my mentors, some administrators, my coaches, I got active and started doing things I wouldn't have, and everybody played a part in how I got to where I am and what I am now. And now I can definitely say, as this chapter of my life comes to an end, that I've really been prepared and built up by those people, and I'm really confident in my future and hopeful about where I will be and what will come my way and how I can be able to handle things because of my experiences and the people, the village, who played a part in my life.